Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and you're watching A Little Literary Love. So as you can probably see from the thumbnail, I decided that I wanted to paint some of the edges of my books. I may have gone a little bit overboard, but well. So yeah, I just decided, I saw some people on YouTube and different like tutorials on how to paint like your books. I really like painted books or like the sprayed edges on books. So like my you know, like Fairy Loot, so this is the latest book from Fairy Loot, and they always have like the sprayed edges, which I think is a big draw for getting like Fairy Loot. I know that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get Fairy Loot, because their books are so pretty and cool. So I wanted to make some of my books look really pretty. Yeah, so I'm gonna insert some footage of me painting my books. So I looked at a few different tutorials online and I pretty much just kind of did it myself. So I know you need your books and you need some sort of tape to tape the edges of your books. Yeah, so you have to tape the edges of your books. I ended up using this frog tape. It's a delicate surface painter's tape and this worked pretty well. And then you need like paintbrush and some acrylic paint. I used a bunch from like the dollar store that I found. And then you need something to like hold and press your book together really like well, so that you don't get the paint like too far inside the pages. So I had these I think these are 5-pound weights, yeah, that I just have in my house. Or you can use, I've seen some people, if you have like little clamps, I've seen some people use those, or I'm sure like if you have some like cans, like canned food, you could probably use that. Just anything with some sort of weight on it to keep the book pretty close. So I'm gonna put in the footage that I took of me like in the process of doing and painting my edges. I started out with a couple practice books. So I did this, which is a pretty old copy that I have of A Little Princess, which is a paperback, because I wanted to see how that would turn out. And then I had this hardback copy of this book, which I have no interest in reading. So, and I'm probably just gonna either like sell it or give it away or do something with it. So I figured this would be another good like practice book to do. So yeah, I'm gonna insert that footage of me doing it, and then we'll kind of go over like some tips that I have, and then we'll go through my huge stack of books that I ended up painting. Yeah, so okie dokie. So gonna start trying to paint the edges of my books. So here I have a couple of different books that I don't really care about. This is one of my like favorite books growing up, but I have other copies of it. So I wanted to try painting like a paperback and see how that goes. And then I have no idea what this book is. I have this in my like to unhaul kind of pile, but it's a hardback, so I wanted to try that. So that's what I'm gonna start with. I have bunch of different like brushes. I'm not really sure which will be better. We're just gonna try some stuff out. And then I have these 5-pound weights to try to keep the books closed. I have this tape here, which is this frog tape, which is a delicate surface. So I thought I'd try this. And then if that's not delicate enough, I might try some washi tape. I don't know. And then I have a couple of different just acrylic paint. I think this one I got at like the dollar store. And then I have this paper plate that I've used before with like painting on. And then I put everything, I don't have like newspaper or anything to put down on my table, but I do have this cardboard box. So I thought I would use that to just use as my surface so I don't get paint all over my dining table. Okay, so we're in my kitchen. This is like the best place that I have to do this. So I'm just gonna begin with the hardback book, and I'm going to take the dust jacket off of it and put it somewhere. And then I'm just going to start taping along like all the edges of the book so that the hardcover doesn't end up getting paint on it. Okay, I think I've got this one all taped up. And then I think I'm gonna try to tape up this one. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I think I have this one as taped up as I'm going to get it. I won't be able to tape up here because, you know, it's hardback or paperback. Okay, now I put my weight on the book and let's see how this goes. Okay, this brush is way too big. And then the only other one I have is like, that's really good. It's gonna be this like small one. Okay, and I found a different brush in my pile of brushes, so I'm gonna try maybe this one because I think it'll be a bit bigger to cover more surface quickly. We'll see. So this one I'm gonna try doing pink. I'm done. Now I have all the edges of this one done. And again, I'm just gonna let this dry and then pull off all the tape and separate all the pages. Okay, I just took the tape off of both of these and I think I did pretty well. I did have some trouble, I can see, like when I was painting and like with the tape like near the spine. I missed a little spot. But otherwise, I think I got it all. And this tape worked pretty well. I did notice, I think it's on this copy, I don't know if you can really tell, there's a few spots when I was pulling up the tape that it started to get the book too, which doesn't bother me too much because I was able to correct it. And this copy of my book is like so old, it already has a bunch of like scuffs, and you know, this corner of this is like folded, so it's not too bad. But now what I need to do, and I did notice, so I have little bits where it went in a little bit more, so I'll see when I start flipping through all the pages how much of the paint got like inside on like the pages like this. You know, if you're somebody that doesn't like this, you may not want to paint your books, or I may have needed to be a little bit more like careful with like putting my weights and moving them along a lot, well, maybe a little bit slower. But honestly, that doesn't bother me too much. If it was like really far into the page, it would bother me, but just that little bit on the side isn't that bad. And then on this one, I did, if my camera will like focus, there we go. I did get just a tad on the spine here, but I think I did pretty good with watching the spine. So yeah, so I'm just going to flip through all the pages and separate them, and then yeah, go from there. Okay, I put the dust jacket back on this one. I separated all the pages. There were a few pages that I ended up ripping just a tad, just because I was going too fast. So if you want to paint your books, make sure you go slow. And then there are some of these, I don't know if you can see it on here, these like little like buzzies, just like from separating the pages that I might see. I think you can just take like a wet Q-tip maybe. I'll have to look up what I can do to kind of get rid of those. And then there's this book. Yeah, so I want to see what other books I can paint. Okay, I'm at my desk now, and I just went into one of the books that I did. I spray painted with this like silver, so I just wanted to try to show you like how I try to separate the pages. So first I usually, which I've already done with this book, but I honestly just kind of fold it a little bit and try to crack the pages just to kind of separate them a little bit. And then I literally just go through one by one. So like here you can kind of see there's like several together. So sometimes I'll like just grab like a chunk and kind of separate them by just like moving my finger along the edges where I see like a gap. And then I'm just gonna run my finger along the edge up here. So that got like this chunk, and then I just kind of, wherever I see like a little edge, I just very carefully run my finger from the middle like outward to unstick it, so that then it also doesn't like catch the pages. And I'll try to see if I can find one. There's been some where it's been like, there'll be, I can't find an edge, like that's all painted over, so I just have to end up like using my nails on the edge of it, or just kind of rubbing the paper a little bit back and forth until I finally get like a tiny spot. And then again, I use my nails to kind of open it more and go again until I can get like my fingers in there to separate it. So yeah, so it's a pretty tedious process because you have to go through page by page to separate them all. But yeah, I'm just going to continue doing this, and then we'll go through all the books that I decided to paint. Okie dokie. So some things that I learned. I thought this frog tape worked really well. I did, because it's delicate surface, but I did also, when I was tearing out the pieces to put in the book, I did also like put it on another surface first and then take it off to again get rid of some of the stickiness, just so it wouldn't tear the edges of my books. When I was taking I'll show you with my like practice book, when I was taking the tape off, I noticed for the most part it did okay, but there was a few books with like the cover and then this end page, I think. It worked better to start to take the tape off from this side instead of the hardcover like side, just because I noticed when I was pulling it up on this side and then you go around to pull it down, there was a few of my books that would start to tear off of the end page. So it worked better starting from this side, taking the tape off. But otherwise, yeah, it worked pretty well. I also did notice, because I didn't, so this tape is pretty thick tape, and I didn't want to use like the full thickness. I ended up tearing it and then tearing it in half, but there were some books that I didn't have the tape in far enough on this side, on the cover, the end page side of the book. And you really want that tape to go more on that inside. I mean, you want it also on this one, but you're mostly going to be painting on the inside here on those pages, so that's where you need that tape to be, so you're not taping the cover. Let's see here. So a few other tips. Oh, also, so I had a variety of different paints. I have some that I just have paints for just random like art projects. So I had some left over that I think I've gotten from like Hobby Lobby. They're a little bit higher quality, like acrylic paint. And then like I said, I got some like this that was just at like my local dollar store. The cheaper the paint, the better off you'll be, I've noticed. The cheaper paints, their colors aren't as vibrant, but they end up coming out a lot thinner when I was painting, and it was a lot easier when I was trying to pull all the pages apart with these versus the more higher end, better quality paints. Those I had a much tougher time getting the pages apart, which you want an easier time because you don't want to end up tearing and ripping the pages of your books. Yeah, and then I did just kind of put in that video of like how to open the pages on some of the books that I was having tougher time with. You just have to go really slow. Like I said, you have to go page by page, and you know, it helped having nails to try to like rub the pages together a little bit so I could get in between like two like pages that were really stuck together. But anyway, yeah. So I ended up painting, I think 19 or 20 books. Most of them I just did a solid color, but then there's a few books that I wanted to get a little bit more creative, and I put actual like some designs on them. So yeah, so we're gonna go through all the books that I ended up painting, and I'll tell you kind of my process for how I painted them. And yeah, I think they look really pretty, and I'm really happy about all of them. There are some of them that I did end up like tearing a little bit. I didn't end up like completely tearing any of the pages, but there are some that the page part of it started to come off and is stuck to like another page, even though I don't really know how to describe it, even though like it's not completely torn. Yeah, so if you're somebody that wants your books to be like pristine, you don't want any like you don't want any tears or folds. There are some of the books that the paint did get a little bit further into the book, but honestly for me, I don't really mind that, as long as like if like a page is like completely like ripped in half, that bothers me. But I mean, your books are meant to be read is kind of how I see it. So just with like everyday wear and tear of you actually reading your books, they're going to get a little bit more worn. They're not going to be always in pristine condition. Now, some of my more like my collector's edition, some of my books that like that, I'm not going to end up painting because I want those to be nice. But otherwise, my other like everyday kind of books that I really like, I'm probably going to end up painting more of my books just because I like making them pretty. And yeah, I can. So again, so did my practice book. I ended up doing it this blue color, which turned out really nice. And then I have my A Little Princess book with that I did the pink edges, which is really nice. With these paperbacks, you just have to kind of like tape this paperback cover, and then most of them I didn't end up taping like the spine here. I just ended up getting the spine painted on. And again, like I said, it doesn't really bother me. If you're someone that it might bother you for that, then you may not want to paint your books. But if that doesn't bother you, you should totally paint your books because it's awesome. So I did my copy of Red, White, and Royal Blue. I painted it pink just to go with all the pinkness. I thought about maybe putting like some stars down the spine, which I may go back and do that. I'm not really sure. But for now, it's just pink. I thought it turned out pretty good. I painted my boyfriend material. I painted it blue. So I thought that matched pretty well. I did another pink one. So I did my copy of Lovely War. I painted it also pink to go with the pinkness of the book. And then I thought I like this one. So I have my copy of Dark Matter from Book of the Month. And I did the pages black, which I thought looks really cool with this like, I mean, this like cover is, it's hard to see on camera, but this cover, this like orange reddish color is like neon, so it looks really cool with the black. Then I did a faux love story. I painted it this purple color to go with the purple cover. And then I'm pretty happy about these. So I have the Vicious and Vengeful that I did like opposite colors. So like this is more of like a red cover, so I painted the edges black. And then this one is more of a black cover with a little bit of red, and I painted the edges red for this one, so that I think they look really cool next to each other. I just like these covers too. They're really neat. I kind of want to paint like all of my VE Show-Up books. And all of them, most of them, there's a few that don't really have this like red and black like color scheme, but a lot of her books have this red and black colors on their covers. So I kind of want to just paint like all of them, like just red and black. We'll get there. I did notice when I was going through all my books and trying to find books that I wanted, there are a lot more books that I want to paint, but I'd like to do either them all in like the same color scheme, or I want to do like an overarching like image throughout them, just to, because they're like series. Like I want to do that for all of my Cassandra Clare books. I think that would really be really cool. And my Sarah J Maas books would be really neat. My J Kristoff like Nevernight series would be really cool, but I just can't figure out like what color I would want to do, or like what image I would want to have on them. So that's why I didn't end up doing those books, just because I still haven't decided. But anyway, so then I also did A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I did it blue to match the cover, and then I have the second book too, Heart So Fierce and Broken, which I did green. So, and I don't have the third one. I'm planning on getting it, so whenever I do get it, I know it has more of like a red cover, so I'll probably do the same with like these books, and I'll paint that one red. Into more, I think my more fancy ones. So I have Ninth House, which I did silver, and this one I was wanting to do either maybe like a snake on the side, but I think I could be wrong. I still haven't read this. This is one of the books I want to try to read this year. I think this is supposed to have more books in. I think this is like the start of a new series. So I was kind of thinking I might wait to put like a snake on the spine to see what the other books are, like the other books in the series when they come out, and might do like what I was saying, like doing maybe like a snake that kind of covers all of the books. We'll see. And if I do end up doing that, I'll probably make another video and like update you all with like more books that I painted. And then I have my copies of Serpent and Dove and Blood and Honey that I did gold, which it looks really shiny. I'm pretty happy about these. And I know the third book is coming out this year, and I think it has like a white cover, but it also still has like the gold elements on it. So I'll probably end up painting the sides of that gold as well. But I think these look really cool. And then we're gonna get into my books that I did like designs on the spines, or not the spines, the in pages. And so I have The Night Circus. I totally blanked on the cover, on the title of this, that I did black, and then I ended up painting these like stars on them. So with those, I just took like a really fine like detail type brush that's really like small, and just took some white paint and I painted the stars, and then I just did these little like dots throughout, which I think works. I was trying to find something that matched like the inside, so I thought about doing like my end pages on this book are just these black and white stripes, so I thought about maybe doing that. But then, so certain like chapters in the book have these pages that are black with like the white stars, so I thought that's kind of why I went with these stars to match that. Then we have my House of Earth and Blood Crescent City book that I'm kind of happy with. I don't know. I did the moon phases on the side in gold. This one took some time just because, oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. So make sure if you're gonna paint the edges of your books, don't pick any books that have the deckled edges because it's just not gonna work. This one, for the most part, it's not really supposed to be deckled edges, but it's not completely smooth on the sides. So that's why I ended up having a hard time making circles, and then I ended up running out of room down here, so they don't look super even, which is why I'm not 100% happy with it. But overall, and then like this one, I ended up accidentally like going a little bit too far. So how I did this one, I started out, I had some like the gold paint, and I was going to just paint it on, but my gold paint that I used is one of those like from the dollar store paints, so it's didn't really start to show up very well on this like red background. So I ended up grabbing, I have some like gold jelly roll pins that I will use like in my bullet journaling or like other things for gold. So I ended up doing that and coloring it in gold, which was a good idea, and it also kind of helped me with drawing them all out. And then after that, after I used the gold pen to make these, then I went back over it with the gold paint just to make it pop and a little bit more vibrant. So, which I think worked out really well because it is very shiny. I like that. So, and then I also ended up, there was a little bit of like black paint in my paintbrush when I was painting this, so you can kind of see there's a little bit of like black there. Oh well. So when the other books in the series come out, I'll probably end up painting them too. Of my 3 Heartstopper books, so this is volume 1. Oh, I have them in order. Volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So I painted these kind of like the same as their spines. So the spine of this one is pink, so I painted it pink. And like the spine of this one's green, so I did green. And then this one is blue, so I did blue. So all of these I did little hearts. I'll go over here since my light's over there. They have little hearts on the edges that I did because it's Heartstopper and it's really cute. These stories are really cute, so I wanted the edges to be pretty cute. So I just did these big hearts, and then I did some smaller hearts and some dots like throughout. And again, it's the same way that I did the stars on the Night Circus book. I just had one of those like smaller like detail brushes that I dipped in white paint to draw these, and I did these all in paint, which I guess you could. I have some like white gel pens that I probably could have done the same as my Crescent City book too, but ended up being fine doing it this way. Last book that I have, which I think I like it the best, even though it doesn't completely fit the book. I don't know. I did The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and this one I did like multiple colors. I think I was watching a video from Jess from Peace Love Books, and she painted the edges of her books, and I'm pretty sure she painted this book, and I think she was trying to do the galaxy. I think she did it on this one. I know she did the galaxy on one of her books, but I was trying to end up doing, I wanted to do like these like clouds, these purplish pinkish clouds is why I did the sides, this purplish pink, and then this I was trying to do like clouds kind of to mimic that, and then I just ended up going into more of like sort of a galaxy, like stars. This one took a little bit of time too, but so how I did this one, I just painted it more of this like a lighter like purple color all first, and then I went back over it in spots with like a pink color in some of these like lighter areas, and then the darker areas I went with a more darker purple, and I just kind of tried to like blend it. And then the clouds was just white paint that I took a brush and just kind of like jabbed on there. I don't know the technical term for it, to make these clouds. And then I took that fine detail small brush to do all the like white dots on there. So I think it's really pretty. But yeah, so those are all of the books that I ended up painting. Like I said, I'm wanting to paint more. I probably will paint more once I actually figure out what colors I want to paint them. And I do need some more paint colors. So what's a good example? Like, I don't have any yellow or orange, so like I have beach reed, which I think would be really cool to paint, either like an orange or a yellow, but I don't have those colors, so that's why I didn't paint them. I think that's the only colors that I need. I know I have green and blue and red and purple and pink, and then like the gold and like silver, so excuse me, I just need the yellow and red, and then I can paint some of those books. And I think they'll be really, excuse me, I think they'll be really pretty. But yeah, so I hope this inspires you to maybe paint some of your books if you want. Totally don't have to, but I think you should, because it makes your books really pretty. Yeah, so if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And I hope you all have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye guys!